All right, let's get into the Champions League draw. Then we'll go group by group, but obviously spend a little bit more time on where the Americans are competing. Group A, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Copenhagen, Galatasaray. I think that Bayern and Man United will see their way out of that one. Group B, got Sevilla, we got Arsenal, we got PSV and Lens. And PSV, we got 3 players now. We got Serginho Dest, Malik Tillman, and Ricardo Pepi all involved in that. And that is a fun group. Sevilla, obviously, very decorated, not necessarily as much in the Champions League as the Europa League, but always a force to be reckoned with. And then we got the Arsenal back in the Champions League. How are you feeling about this group in particular and the games?
Hey, great draw for Arsenal.
You're feeling good.
Considering what it could have been, amazing draw.
That's true. That's true.
Amazing.
So PSV, I'm hopeful at that point. It looks like Dest is already a favorite of Peter Bosch, their manager, but I'm hopeful that Tillman and Pepi can get some of that experience in the group stage as well. And I guess the better PSV does in the first, let's say, 4 games, and maybe have already booked their ticket to the next round, that could give some minutes to some of these players that maybe aren't getting as much. The Group C, we got Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union Berlin, which has Brendan Aronson on it, and Jordi Pefok, though apparently Jordi Pefok is going to go out on loan to Borussia Mönchengladbach for this season. So that changes his availability, let's say, for Group C. I got Napoli and Real Madrid going through on this, but you can't sleep on Braga, Chuck, because Portuguese teams in European competition always up for the fight. So Union Berlin are going to have that same type of spirit. I'm a big fan of their manager, Urs Fischer, but this could be too tall of a mountain to climb. But a great experience for Brendan in particular to get a run out again once, because he did it once with RB Salzburg and actually performed pretty well from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, for Brendan Aronson and Union Berlin, they get to play Napoli, Real Madrid, and Braga's no slouch either. That's a difficult group.
I know.
So
that's what I'm saying.
It's great for him and his growth and exposure at the highest level. Every player dreams of playing in Champions League, and to play against teams like Real Madrid and Napoli. I mean, let's go. I'm hyped for Brendan Aronson.
All right, and we're getting. Go ahead.
We're getting hotter. We're getting close to the group of death.
We're getting closer to that, yes. And we did have to confirm that Jordi Pefok will actually officially go out on loan to Borussia Mönchengladbach. We wish him the best there. Group D, we got Benfica, we got Inter Milan, we got RB Salzburg and Real Sociedad. That feels kind of wide open. I think Inter obviously are the favorites, but then from there, Benfica were good in the Champions League last year. You can't sleep on Salzburg and Sociedad. Again, and La Liga teams like to win these competitions. Then we got Group B. We got Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid. We got Lazio. We have Celtic. The only American in there is Cameron Carter-Vickers, but apparently his hamstring injury is a little more severe than they had maybe been admitting publicly, or maybe they actually feared initially. I'm hopeful that we can have Cameron Carter-Vickers come back into the team before the group stages are over. That said, even if he was playing, I don't know. I guess Celtic could maybe get second. I mean, I have Atleti and Diego Simeone and everybody pushing through there. They're really talented. And you just don't really know which version of Feyenoord and Lazio are going to show up. They can be very good some days, and then some days you're like, what? Are those guys paid professionals? Sorry, that was too big of a shot. So Celtic, you never know. And obviously, when you have those home games at Celtic Park, they always gives them an advantage with the 12th man there. I don't know. How do you feeling about this? I mean, Cameron Carter-Vickers' injury is pretty significant, apparently.
Yeah, I just hope he can get back on the pitch. He's such a good person, and we just saw him take a huge step in his game as a center back, his development. Playing in the World Cup, I thought he should have played in the match against Holland, because I thought he was really solid against Iran and formed a good partnership with Tim Ream. But you just hope that he gets on the pitch sooner than later, so he can continue to grow and develop and hopefully make a move from Celtic, because Ange Postecoglou has said he's the best defender in the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah, it'd be exciting to see him continue to get run-outs, and that's a huge experience, right? I mean, playing the Champions League, that must be next level. All right, we're going to skip the group of death for a minute because we have a bunch of Americans playing in that one. We're going to go to Group G, which was Man City, Leipzig, Red Star Belgrade, and Young Boys. We have, in theory, Zach Steffen still out on loan from Man City, but I don't think he'll be factoring into their plans this season. And then in Group H, we have Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Royal Antwerp, which has Sammy Vines in that. I'm hopeful that Sammy Vines is the guy they're trusting to play all these games. Obviously, an incredible experience. And these are the types of competitions, Chuck, where if you go and perform well in your 6 group stage games, you could parlay that. Even if your team doesn't do well, if you end up going out there and showing off that you can play and hold your own against some of the best teams in the world, that gives you an opportunity somewhere else. You start to get on the radar of scouts of the bigger clubs.
100%.
radar of the national team as well, in maybe a different way. Like if Sammy Vines is pocketing, somebody from Barcelona over 2 games, not just a one-off, but does it consistently. Now you're talking about a Sammy Vines we might be interested in for the U.S. team. Now let's go back to the group of death, though.
Well, before you even do that, I think it's important to note in Group H, because it's so top-heavy with Barca and Porto, that Sammy Vines and Royal Antwerp have a really good shot to get into the Europa League.
That's true. Good shout.
And so not only is he putting himself in a good position to make a move if he plays well, given that they're playing Barca, Porto, and Shakhtar. I mean, we've seen in the past, if you do well in that group stage and Porto, you play really well against Porto, guess what? Porto's coming in for a bid in the summer, right? So not only that, but also
true.
If you play well in the Europa League in the next stage, if they finish third, it's also another good opportunity. You're in the shop window, the dream shop window.
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm glad you added that insight. So let's get into the group of death, though. Group F. This group is insane.
Woo!
Now, for those that don't know, I support Newcastle and have for many years, including when we.
You got to be feeling optimistic, no?
Optimistic. I want a redraw. Can we do this again? Because I saw what Arsenal got, and I want a little bit of that. But PSG at the top. Now this is a PSG team that is all killing Mbappe at this point, because either they're going to Saudi Arabia or MLS.
That.
What? I'm putting it on his shoulders. It's fine.
You got Dembele. You got Marco Asensio.
Okay. Ousmane Dembele and Marco Asensio, excellent players, but they're not Messi and Neymar. Okay,
no,
maybe they'll be more
for the team.
Maybe they'll actually work for the team. I don't know. We got Borussia Dortmund, so we got Gio Reyna action there. You got AC Milan, so you have Yunus Musa and Christian Pulisic, and then you got my Newcastle, who have to be a little bit bitter that this is their return to the Champions League. But what a hell of a group. There are no days off in this one. And I think you can actually get, from a betting perspective, I might throw a little cheddar, not much, like $5-10 on Newcastle, because you get crazy odds for them. But if they get out of the group, I wouldn't be surprised, because they've got the horses to potentially make a move. Anyway,
I'm getting out of the group.
Do you?
Milan 1, Newcastle 2.
I love that. Chuck, we just became best friends. Like we were like close to, no, I'm just kidding. We've always been best friends, but that just took you to the next level. So what I love, though, is we get 2 games of Gio Reyna taking on Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musa. We got a lot of Americans in this, and that's exciting, right? This is the first time. I think we have 13 Americans in total that are potentially final rosters for the Champions League get announced on September 4th. So we won't know exactly, but as of right now, we got 13 Americans, which is the most ever for a Champions League. So how are you feeling about this group in particular? And let's just speak about Milan overall, because Christian Pulisic has just been lights out.
Well, I mean, it couldn't have been a better start to life in Milan for Christian Pulisic. But the thing that strikes me the most is that Christian Pulisic is happy. He's smiling.
Right.
You could tell he's embracing it, and he's loving this experience. And the partnerships with him and Olivier Giroud is already there. It's already where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And Rafa Leao is a player that's already starting to figure out how Christian Pulisic moves, and you're starting to see the midfield along with this trio come together in such short time, which is incredible. So I'm really high on Milan right now. I think the transfer window has gone really well. You lose a player like Tonali, and you see how good Tonali is. He is a special player. Both sides of the ball. Newcastle really upgraded with Tonali in the midfield, but they got Christian Pulisic, Chukwueze, Noah Okafor.
They've done well too.
Cheek. They've really reinvested that transfer in the squad to perfection. And they had a goalkeeper in Mike Magnon, so I think Milan are in a better position than they were last season.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. What I really like and appreciate is with Stefano Pioli, the manager of Milan, he's done a nice job of finding players that needed a new chance, a new opportunity. You have Loftus-Cheek, who's one of them. You got Reinders, who I think he seems like a young player, but he's 25, so he's
also underrated.
Underrated. You got Christian, obviously, who has already stated that he just needed a new opportunity, and I'm paraphrasing, but the last couple of years at Chelsea just didn't go the way that he wanted. And It's great. And I think that what I really like about Christian here is that he has embraced the fact that he's going to have a challenge because they have signed some excellent players and already had some excellent players in those areas of the field, and he's putting his stamp on things. And that first impression, Chuck, how important is that first impression though?
So important. I really hope he gets Bayern Munich and he's got to face Thomas Tuchel and absolutely gives it to him.
No, that would be amazing. And with Milan, or you having them going through, it'll be interesting to see who they cross over with in the round of 16.